All right, guys, let's get to some fan questions.
If you could add one rule to all mixed martial arts promotions worldwide, what rule would it be and why? Hard mode, you can't have your rule impact round times or weight cuts.
Oh, Nate, you know what? I would not get my way on this, and I wouldn't even advocate for this, but something that I would love to see is a forfeiture. I've always thought that the forfeit is a relevant part of sports. It happens anywhere in the world. Okay, you get a schedule, one team doesn't show up for any reason. Great, no problem. We still award a winner. There is a reason that a team always shows up for the Super Bowl and never ever from the all of time. Same thing goes with the Olympic Games, same thing goes with NCAA championships, right? Those championships, use the Super Bowl by example. The Super Bowl is set. The date it will be contested is set for the next 5 years right now. Two teams show up and play, or they don't. That date is not going to change. That date has never changed. Both teams always show up. For some reason in fighting, if you don't feel good you have any kind of, you just don't show up. I got no problem if a guy doesn't show up. Bring the other guy out, raise his hand, let him cut his interview, and walk off. Every now and then in a dual meet in wrestling, that will happen. One team doesn't put somebody else on the mat at a specific weight class. Great. Great. Guy walks out, gets his hand raised, points go up on the board, everything's affected, and you move on.
Hey Chael, I was just wondering if Dustin Poirier manages to beat Khabib, would he be in consideration as one of the best lightweights ever?
No. If Dustin Poirier beats Khabib, he will not go down as the greatest lightweight ever. Not because he's not, but because the people who decide this, which, in fairness to you guys, I want to be nice to you guys because you're my audience, but it's you. You guys, for whatever reason, do not allow that torch to be passed. It's something that you make a guy prove time and time again, over and over, which is a very odd thing. If a guy in combat has anything that he brings to the match, the other guy has the right to take it from him. If a guy is a world champion and he beats him, that guy takes the world championship. That's not true in any other sport, right? The Patriots win the Super Bowl and they go play another 14 games before the next Super Bowl. The world championship doesn't trade hands. It should. It just doesn't. It's something unique in combat. For some reason, if a guy holds a ranking, you're the number 8 guy, you beat the number 4 guy, you don't become the number 4 guy. The guy's got to go in the room, they got to break it all down and decide you got lucky or whatever the excuse is because you gave them a bad look somewhere or you didn't say something nice to them on social media and they don't want to vote for you because they're like little children in school and it turns into a popularity contest. So no. Dustin may be the best light heavyweight ever, and perhaps should be recognized as it, but no, I will predict for you now, the fans will not anoint him to that.
Hey Chael, this is Tawheed from Bangladesh. Why do you think same-day weigh-ins are still not being implemented? If you were an MMA promoter, would you introduce same-day weigh-ins?
Yeah, so if I was promoting MMA, no, I would not move for the same-day weigh-in. Now, I think what you're referring to is I have talked a number of times about if you want to do away with weight cutting, you could do a 1 hour weigh-in. And the only reason I'm correcting that is I have had people say that back to me, go, same day weigh-in, that's interesting. No. I didn't say same day weigh-in. I said 1 hour weigh-in. You weigh in and 1 hour later, you're in the ring. Now, where I'm getting that isn't just Chael's school of thought. What I'm saying is we don't need an experiment, and we don't need to bring in a bunch of so-called experts to talk about talking and meet about meeting, which is all we've had done so far. If you want to do away with weigh-ins, we know for sure doing a 1 hour weigh-in will do away with that because the NCAA implemented that in 1998. And the NCAA has 21 years of evidence as a very respected body that sanctions sport that it works. You simply do not see weight cut anymore. Why? Because you cannot rehydrate in 1 hour, and therefore you cannot compete dehydrated, and therefore you don't dehydrate. Now, to your question, I'm answering the question on how you solve the problem and not have to do an experiment and wonder. No, I'm not an advocate for. I'm not pushing for it. I do think that you have adults who are choosing to do something, and they do have a level of anonymity on how they're going to do it, and that they should get to choose whether they do it or not. For a commission to come in and want to have a level of sanctioning over that is also fair play. And somewhere you meet in the middle. So I'm not actually an advocate of the 1 hour weigh-in. I will just tell you that will do away with weight cutting as we know it.
Everyone's talking about adding a 165-pound weight class, but I feel a 195-pound weight class would be just as exciting and just as intriguing. We could call it Franklin weight. What do you think?
Oh, you're right for sure. Yeah, more weight classes you want to put in, the better. What ends up happening, if either one of those gets put in, it'll be a very short-term move, right? And you know this too. Okay, 165. Well, we've got Kevin Lee saying he'll do it, and we got Askren saying he wants to do it, and you just go through it, and then you go, okay, 195. I can't really think of some great matches I want to say. I guess we give this 65 pounders. Well, a year from now, there are going to be all sorts of 195 pounders we want to do it. So I don't know that either weight class is going to get put in, but if you're asking me if I'd like to see it, sure, because I love the opportunity. I also love this champ business. I think it's a very real thing. I think boxing had a lot of fun putting, 3-time world champion against 5-time world champion. Now, the fine print was they were only separated by 3.5 pounds to begin with. It was pretty easy to do, but it did allow for some opportunity for guys. And it also allowed for some of those big matches. I just thought it was a win-win. I like divisions. I'm glad the women are here. I'm glad the flyweights are here, and the bantamweights and the featherweight, so on and so forth, regardless of who came first or second or third. And yeah, I mean, if you're asking me if I would like to see more opportunity, more division, sure I would.
Hey Chael, Glenn Bell, quick question for you. When one of the best of a training camp loses, how does that affect the rest of the camp? When somebody who's been undefeated in your training camp takes their first loss, how does that affect everyone else? Are they likely to say, well, if it happened to them, it can happen to me? Or do you just kind of brush it off? Khabib is fighting this Saturday, and for the first time, DC has lost at heavyweight, which most thinks is his proper weight class. So mentally, might we see something from Khabib where he's a little more hesitant, a little more cautious, knowing that, hey, DC just had a loss, something like that could happen to me, because DC's one of the best in our training camp. He's the captain of the camp. Just wondering.
All right, Glenn Bell, next time you ask me a question, tell me what brand of t-shirt you're wearing, because you got very good taste. This is 2 for 2 where I'm complimenting your t-shirt. Now, that's a very real thing, what you're bringing up right there. You're talking about morale. You're talking about the morale of the room, the morale of the environment. Can we get on a roll? Do we have good momentum? And you're also seeing something where you go, boy, I thought that guy was unbeatable. I've never seen that guy get beaten here. I know that guy could kick my butt. And now he just got beat. I guess that could happen to me. I have a feeling that Khabib and Daniel aren't sparring together because of their size difference, but I'm answering your question as a more broad stroke to how that could happen in a gym, and that's a very real thing. Now, I don't know that morale bust. DC is a team captain, a leader. He's been there before Khabib, so it's probably a little bit of a more of a real thing. But there's also lessons in that, right? There's something that DC could bring back and go, hey, Khabib, one of the things I did, I thought I could beat this guy everywhere instead of having my own strengths and beating it at the grappling. Boy, if I could do it again, I would have used my greatest weapon as my first line of attack. Keep that in mind. Go out there and use it as your first line of attack. If they had a conversation, something along these lines, it could also be something helpful for Khabib.
Hi, Chael. Rusty from Slovakia here. My question is, what is the best way for your fans to meet you in person? Do you do some meet and greets or some autograph signings when you're on the road with UFC or with Bellator? Thanks.
Best way for a fan to meet me? Wow. I don't know that I have a great answer to that. Yeah, I live in West Lynn, but it's a little bit of a small town. I suspect nobody will be coming through here, at least not commonly. At events, if you're able to take in a Bellator or UFC event, and we're there, if you send me a tweet or something on social media, you have my word, I will make sure that I find you at the event.